Hello, everyone. I'm going up for it again. I'm not sure if I was live the last time or not. So if not, you kind of get to see a, a redo. um, I'm Cullen Bunn. Welcome to the live stream. Uh, with me back here in the corner is my pal Josh Roberts,
Hello.
and on the on the admin side, as usual, is the lovely Cindy Bunn, who's going to be helping me field any questions we get or anything like that. I'm going to be trying to do a few more of these live broadcasts in the days to come. Um, I'm going to be doing them on Patreon. I'm going to be doing them on TikTok, which I now have a TikTok because I'm so youthful and vibrant. And I'm going to be posting them on this to the public on a more regular basis. So I'm just really, if you have questions, anything you want to talk about, I'd love to see the comments. Straight away. Just you can start feeding them through. Cindy will pop them through to the main screen so I can see them. But I want to just talk a little bit about some of the things I've got going on, some of the projects that are underway. Today is Tuesday, so tomorrow is New Comic Book Day, and tomorrow's a really good New Comic Book Day because we have, first of all, we have Basilisk number 11. The penultimate issue is going to be posted or released. And then more, it's not more importantly, but, it's a new issue coming out. Is Shock Shop number 1 releases in stores tomorrow. So, that book is coming from Dark Horse. You can get it any comic. You can get Basilisk or Dark Horse at any of your favorite comic book shops. Just head there. They can. If they don't have it, they can order it for you. I'm really hoping for a sell through on Shock Shop number 1, so that Dark Horse can see that I'm worth working with.
I think they know that already.
Josh thinks they know it already, but we'll see. Speaking of Shock Shop, and Josh and I have a new venture that we've been working on together. If you listen to The Bungalow, my podcast, or follow my newsletter, you'll know about this. But Josh and I are starting. We've been calling it Beyond Mortal Creator Services, and I'm sort of the first guinea pig. We're doing. Josh is managing all of my web stores now. He's kind of been handling all of my my Kickstarter stuff, and we've got 2 web stores. We've got my web store. We've got
eBay store.
With my eBay store, which will links you can find on my on Twitter or my website. You can find all that stuff. But Josh has been helping me with that. And one of the other things we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing variant covers of a number of my books that you can only get from me. So we're going to be doing variant covers of, new books we'll talk about here at some point in the broadcast. Door to Door, Night by Night from Vault. We have a creator exclusive variant cover that's going to be coming out. The Chilling Adventures of Salem from Archie. We have a variant cover that you can only get from me. Title redacted because it hasn't been announced yet. We have a variant cover that's only from me. And then we have variant covers for Shock Shop number 1. What you got there, Josh? You got them? Hand them over.
I've got them. They're beautiful.
Look at these. So these have been available on my web store for pre-order. Though we'll start shipping them tomorrow. This is the same issue. This is Shock Shop number 1. So Shock Shop is a flip book. So it has 2 stories, 2 covers. We commissioned 2 variant covers from the great Baltimore Rivas for Shock Shop number 1. We've got these on my web store, but for those of you who are smart enough to join us in our live stream tonight, if you want a copy of this, you don't have to order it from the web store. If you tell us in the comments that you want one, Cindy will take it and we'll invoice you for it. We're going to sell them to you for $15 tonight to the people who are on the live stream. We can sell you copies of these for $15. I'll sign them for you. We got a bunch of other stuff that we're going to be posting here, or we're talking about soon. I kind of cleaned through my stock. I've sort of found some rarities, some new books that will be posted on the store but aren't yet. But Shock Shop number 1, if you haven't gotten your Baltimore Revis variants yet, I do expect these to sell out. I'm going to start taking the conventions. I got 2 conventions coming up in the next couple of weeks, which we'll talk about. And like I said, I'm going to be pushing them on the store, so they are going to go, but you can get them today. I will admit some of we've only on my web store we've only been doing shipping to the United States. If you are not in the United States and you want one, email us and we'll figure it out. I don't know if you guys know this, but shipping is insane right now. It's destroying us. So I'll hand those back to Josh. But yeah, I'll bring it back up again. Shock Shop number 1, the Baltimore Revis variant. If you want one, just post a comment. We'll reach out to you. We'll get in touch with you. We'll invoice you, and we'll get you taken care of in that on those books. We got some other cool stuff I'm going to show you here in a little bit too. So yeah, Shock Shop comes out tomorrow. Basilisk comes out tomorrow. I have a copy of previews that my pal Josh brought me, and this is the current previews, Josh. Current previews, and you'll see these tabs in here. Look at it. Look at all these Cullen Bunn tabs. I don't want to be that guy, but guys, look, I got a double page spread in the Dark Horse section for Shock Shop, Harrow County, and Parasomnia. I got a double page spread. Oh wait, this might not be a double page spread. I may have misspoken. Oh yeah, double page spread in the Aftershock section for a Foulness in the Walls. Justin, we'll get you set up, bud.
Tell them about that cover for Foulness in the Walls.
Oh yeah, that's enough. So, trying to hold up. So if you see this cover, the cover with the glasses here on Foulness in the Wall, that's the standard cover. But the cover over here with the hand reaching through the hole, you see that? That is another one of those variants that you will only be able to get from me. So keep a lookout for that. That is one of those Aftershock one-shocks. It's like a 40-something page horror story, self-contained. It's a if you've read the other one-shocks I've done, like I did Piecemeal and I did Eden. Both of those are very personal stories to me, for very different reasons. And A Foulness in the Wall is also a very personal story. It's a story of this dude who's trying to get his life established again. He's just had a loss, and he's trying to start over. And his guilt and these feelings that he didn't do enough for his loved ones are kind of crushing him. And it opens up this awful occurrence. And I think it's something that a lot of people can understand. I think that knowing if you've ever had a loss in the family, and it's always this feeling of no matter what you did, even if you did more than anyone could ever expect you to do, there's always this sort of feeling of guilt that follows them. And that's what this story's about. It's also about a guy who lives in a terrible house, which I lived in. The house is based on a house I lived in that was awful, just the worst. So, also in this previews is we've got Bloodborne, the trade paperback, Lady of the Lanterns from Titan Comics. I don't think I can say that I may be working on another Bloodborne comic, but I may be working on another Bloodborne comic. They have another page, these Lady of the Lanterns Copic Virgin packs, which I don't even know what those are, but they look really neat. We've got A Legacy of Violence from Mad Cave Studios coming out. This is number 2. Number 1 should be coming out pretty soon. We've got Book of Shadows from Valiant. They're doing an advanced solicit of Book of Shadows, the trade paperback. Why advanced? Because for some reason they're not going to release issues 3 and 4 until next year. But hey, that's all right. What do you think of that, Josh? Yeah.
Get them out.
I don't know why that's not getting released till next year. That's not it's beyond my pay grade. And then Vault really liked me this month. I've got a door-to-door night by night, a double page spread. You can see the cover, the main cover, the variant cover, and then, like I said, Vault really liked me because there's another door-to-door night by night 2-page spread, and that's another book we're gonna be doing one of those variant covers. Exclusive variant covers.
Tell them about Fangoria.
What about Fangoria?
You have an ad in Fangoria.
Oh, that's actually.
Oh, excuse me.
Rue Morgue.
Rue Morgue magazine.
I don't even know what it was. An ad. Was it for Shock Shop?
Door by door.
Oh, door.
Night.
All right.
Door
Well,
night by night. I think.
I don't know, but one of my friends messaged me and said, "Hey, you got to add in Rue Morgue," which is awesome because I love that magazine. I love Fangoria. Rue Morgue. Fangoria was the first magazine that ever published me. You guys know that story? Yeah. So when I was in college, you know this story?
No.
Cindy, do you know this story? When I was in college, I was taking a magazine article writing class, and I remember our teacher. Cindy knows the story. Obviously, she knows the story. I had a teacher who said, or my professor said, if you guys can sell an article to a magazine, no matter what else you do in the class, straight A's. So I immediately started writing to Tony Timpone, who was the editor of Fangoria at the time, pitching an article about horror role-playing games. And weirdly enough, Tony Timpone called me instead of responding through a letter. He called me and said, "Hey, I want to do this article, or it's greenlit. Let's get it going." And I went to my professor and I said, "Hey, I sold an article yesterday, and it's the first piece of writing I was actually going to be paid any real amount of money for." And my professor said, "Well, you must have known that person when you submitted it, so you don't get an instant A."
That's terrible.
Infuriates me to this day. I'm still angry. I'm still angry about it. And don't give me that. Don't give me that. Oh, they were just encouraging you. No, they lied to me. They lied. Big old jerks lied to me. All right. So Cindy, you can start. If we have questions, please pop them through. We'll make it. I'll try to do whatever I can to answer some of those. But while we're waiting for, we got one. Super excited for Shock Shop. How did serializing 2 stories in a flip comic come to you rather than more common horror anthology format self-contained stories? That's a good question. So in a lot of ways, Shock Shop, in the way it's presented, is all credit to Daniel Chabon, my editor at Dark Horse. So I tweeted one day, I put out on Twitter one day, "Hey, I put something out along the lines of an editor asked me for a bunch of horror pitches. So I sent them 8 horror pitches. Let's see how it goes." And I posted that for some reason. Part of the reason I posted that was to see if anyone else was paying attention. And I did have a few other editors and publishers reach out to me and say, "Hey, we'd like to see those horror pitches." Daniel was one of them. And I sent him these 8 pitches, and he came back to me and said, "Hey, I like this. And what do you think about doing it as an anthology where we split 2 stories?" And I came back with well, let's flip book it then. Because I've always loved, when I used to publish a small press magazine, and we do chat books. And I did some were flip books where we did 2 stories in one book. And I wanted to try that again with this. So that's really where it came from. Daniel liked a couple of the stories that I submitted. and said, let's put them in a book together and let's serialize them over a certain number of issues. And that's how we did it. That's where it came from. And then I think I said, let's flip book it, because why not, right?
I like it.
What else we got, Josh? What other rarities have we found?
These are all rarities. Let's look. Let's show that to people.
All right. So if you're familiar with my work for a while, I did a book called Helheim several years back. Now, this is a book I did with Joelle Jones. It is a Viking era Frankenstein story. It's the best way I can describe it. We introduce this village of Vikings, and we meet Ricard, who is the one character we think is who's noble and true, and is going to lead his people to safety. And I kill him. No, I mean, spoiler, but it's not a big spoiler. I kill him on like page 5. But he's brought back as this hulking monster that still has to fight in the middle of this witch war. Now, this book, if you'll see down here, you can't really see it in the camera, but it's a phantom variant. So there are these retailers who get together and they do these variant covers. So when this book came out, these retailers did these variant covers for all 6 issues of the original series. This book is hard to find. I don't know that you can read. Can you find these on?
I haven't seen them in a while.
They're tough to find. I used to have a lot of them. I only have a few now.
But that's all 6 issues, all phantom variants.
Yes, these are all phantom variants for all 6 issues. It's not cheap. On my web store, these are going to be going for $100 for a set. I am selling. If you guys want one tonight, let us know. I'll sell them to you for, that can't be right, Jack, $80?
Yeah,
$80 if you want them tonight. Again, these are going to go quick. I don't have a lot of them. If you haven't read Helheim, it's a great book. You can still get trade paperbacks of it, but these 6 covers, you will not be able to. You're not going to be able to find them in a lot of places. Covers. And they are all cool covers. They're all by Joelle Jones. She did these special for the Phantom organization. So we got those, $80. If you want one, again, let us know in the comments, and we'll get you taken care of.
Nice.
All right. Josh is too pretty to have all out of focus like that.
Oh, I've got a face for radio.
The secret is Josh isn't out of focus. It's sort of like a ring scenario where you get distorted when Josh is involved. And that's what's going on there. I'm sorry. Sorry about Josh's ring-like out of focus nature. Okay. I agree with you, though. He is far too pretty to be out of focus. I don't.
Who said that?
That was Tyler. Tyler L said that.
Oh, thank you, Tyler L.
That's probably your mom. That's your mom. All right. So, do we have other questions, Cindy? You can pop those through too. But yeah, so those Helheim variants, very hard to find. I was shocked that I had them. I only have a limited quantity.
Hard to find.
They're very hard to find. What else we got in our pile of hard to find stuff?
Let's do these last book you'll ever read variants.
Oh yeah. Are you guys familiar with last book you'll ever read? So this is a series I did with Vault. The series is wrapped up. It's going to be collected in trade paperback pretty soon. But one of the things Vault did that I thought was really cool for last book you'll ever read is they did these black bag variants. Now I'm not going to unwrap these and show you these covers.
Not safe for work.
Not safe for work. I opened these up at a convention, and there were children nearby, and I felt really, really uncomfortable. These are the naughty covers for last book you'll ever read. These are issue 1s, and I still have a good handful. They did 2 of these black bag variants for issue 1. One by Corin Howell and one by series artist Layla Lays. I have a few of these. I think I have 4 or 5 of them of each, maybe a few more of the Corin Howell one. I am selling these for $10 each, $15 for the set. If you want both of them, you can get them for $15. Again, just tell us that you want them in the comments, and we'll get them set up for you. First come, first serve. They're going to go on the website, and they're going to go to conventions with me starting this week, because I'm going to be in
Lawrence, Kansas.
I'm gonna be, yes, thank you, Josh. I'm going to be in Lawrence, Kansas at Free State Con. It's the first convention I've done in a little while, a few months at least. I'm going to be at Free State Con. I'll have this stuff. If you're in the Lawrence, Kansas area, I've never done this convention before. And I'm excited about it. From what I hear, it's very much a comic book convention. It's very comic focused, very creator focused. So I'm super excited to be there. I'm not bringing a ton of stuff, but yes, I will be bringing books for folks. Cullen, is it possible for you to attend some comic events in Brazil, like CCXP, in the near future? What do you think about these kind of events outside the U.S.? I would love to attend some of them. The only overseas convention I've done so far, I did a show in London a few years back. Is it MCM is the convention? So I did that. So yeah, I would love to attend some shows overseas. The thing from across the board, conventions in the States, overseas, these days I can't do a con unless they are willing to invite me out, put me up, give me a table. I just can't do any shows. It's kind of my way of limiting these shows to some degree, is because look, we all know there are conventions every weekend, right? I can't do them all, but so the only ones I can do will be shows that actually invite me out. So if you have a favorite convention, a con you'd like me to come to, absolutely tell them you want me there, and let's see if they'll.
If you're going to Brazil, I'm going with you.
I would bet you money that Cindy is probably going to. Cindy's probably going to say she gets first dibs on Brazil.
Yes.
Sorry, Josh, but that's the way it goes.
It's all right. I understand.
All right. But then after Cindy just posted, she gets the passenger seat. So, after the show in Lawrence, a couple of weeks later, I will be in Memphis, Tennessee at the Memphis Comics Expo. That is the weekend of
24th, 25th.
Yeah, 24th, 25th, somewhere around there. The Memphis Comics Expo, they've got a heck of a lineup in terms of guests. I mean, a really good guest lineup. I'm super excited to be there. I'm going to be bringing my sketchbooks. I'm going to be getting sketches. I'm going to be buying comic books. I'm going to be eating barbecue, and I might also be selling a few comics while I'm there.
Like these.
That's right. Oh, Kamos, it's your birthday? You got to be kidding me. Nobody told me. All right, Kamos, we're going to send you something special for your birthday. You got to let Cindy know so that we'll message you on Twitter. We're going to send you something because you have been so supportive. Yes, Josh has got those Shock Shop variants he's holding up. I am going to have those at Lawrence. I'm going to have them at Memphis Comic Expo. Definitely, if you want them tonight at the $15, let us know and we'll get them set aside for you. Sean says everything I've been announcing is so dang exciting. I agree. I'm excited for the books that I've got coming out. I've got some big announcements that down the line that I'm not sure when they're going to let me talk about it. I say this on a lot of videos. If you were to pan slowly to my right, you would see my bulletin board full of projects I'm working on and pitches I have. I have in the mix right now that I'm waiting to get announced or accepted. Hey, John, any plans to do another short film? I thought you would probably ask me any plans on actually responding to the email that you sent me. I do plan on responding to you. Sorry about that. So we did a short movie. If you guys haven't seen it, if you go to YouTube, you can find our short film Swamp Water. It's a short, 15 minutes horror movie we did that I did with my buddy Heath Amodio. We have definitely been in talks of doing a new one. It was fun to do. It was a movie we made on $0, which was kind of cool. And yeah, we're gonna do more. It's just a matter of convincing a production company to do another short movie with us. So yes, the answer is we will do more. I promise. Will Bunn, what a last name. Any tips on juggling more than one project? I will say that I'm having more difficulty these days than I probably had in the past doing that. The biggest tip I can offer, at least this one, and it probably doesn't work for everybody. This is what works for me. I have, like I said, my bulletin board. I have these Post-its, these little, I can't really show you one because they all have stuff written on them. I have these little magnetic Post-its that sit on my bulletin board, and I organize them by what is the most important thing to get finished next. A lot of times that's by deadline. A lot of times that's by if my artist that I'm working with, I probably shouldn't say my artist, but if the artist I'm working with needs something to work on, they move up on the schedule, and then I work on one at a time. And when that's done, I move on to the next one, one at a time, on to the next one, do the next one, one at a time. I try not to bounce during one day. I try not to bounce back and forth between too many projects, unless that day is spent just outlining, which I do a lot of outlining. Every script I write, I spend a lot of time outlining, and sometimes I'll do more than one outline in a day. But once it comes to the actual scripting, yeah, I'm focused on one until it's done. And usually, if I finish one quick, like for some reason the words are really flowing, and I finish it halfway through the day, I don't move on to another one until the next day. I give myself a little bit of a break between those projects.
Cleanse the palate.
Like with a margarita that I forgot to fill up before I came here. Justin, please say Basilisk is getting a show. I am not allowed to say if Basilisk is getting a show.
But that should encourage you, Justin.
I'm not allowed to say most of the books I'm talking about are getting shows, I have many, many projects in various stages of development. It's a long game, though. And, as we've seen with the 6 Gun and with Harrow County, it moves along, and then things change and it falls apart, but then it starts moving again. So, many of my books are in various stages. Josh, you kind of look like a little Kawato from Get Your Ass to Mars. What's that movie? What is that movie?
Total Recall?
Total Recall. You look like a little Kawato growing
like
out.
Your conjoined twin?
Yeah, you look like you're growing out of my shoulder. Mark, hey Mark, I'm glad you're here. Fingers crossed for more Damned and Shadow Roads. Yeah.
You and me, Mark.
Yeah, Josh is with you. The Damned is the one that if I'm at a show, I get asked 1,000 times, are we going back to the Damned? We want to. Brian Hurt and I both very much want to return to the Damned. I think everybody knows we have a big story planned for that series, and things just always seem to fall apart right at right when we're getting some momentum.
That's a good segue.
It is a good segue. Speaking of the Damned, look at what else Josh found for me. So if you haven't read The Damned, available in trade paperback, you can get them in trade paperback. But I found a big set of the first 8. So this is the 8 issues of The Damned when we released it in color. This is the 8 issues, single issues. I found I don't know, 6, 8 sets of these. All 8 issues. I'll sign them, send them to you. We are selling them on my website. They're going to go on my website for $50 for the set, but we're going to sell them again. If you guys want any of these, $40. I'll have these at that convention in Lawrence too. If I saw some of you are going to be there, if you go to the convention in Lawrence and you want these and you say, "Hey, I saw that you were cheaping out on these," I'll sell them to you for the cheaper rate. Is this a margarita delivered to me?
It is.
It's like
By
Uber.
your lovely wife.
Thank you, Cindy. So anyway, first 8 the 8 issues of the color version of The Damned. This was the second time. This is the Ill-Gotten story arc, and the Prodigal Sons. So it's Ill-Gotten and Prodigal Sons.
Give them the elevator pitch.
Well done. The Damned is a gangster era, prohibition era story with demons. Demons have come to our world, and they are using the rackets to get people to sell their souls. And the problem is they've fallen victim to the same things they're trying to get people to do. They're kind of giving way to those iniquities themselves. One of my favorite words, iniquities. But that's Tyler. I'm glad the bungalow is back too. Cindy obviously is in the other room. Josh, our frequent guest on the bungalow. We're glad it's back too. We had a really tough last 12 months. A little more than 12 months have been really tough for us. And honestly, we just didn't want to do it. We just weren't up for it. But I enjoyed recording it again. We've been talking about it for a long time about doing another one. I'm super happy it's back. Cindy and I are going to be recording another episode here soon. Josh will probably be guest starring on episodes in the future, but we're going to be doing them much more regularly. We're really going to try to make it happen this time.
This
Mr. Macabre, my dear friend, Mr. Macabre, my dear frenemy. I'd like to see a prequel to Dark Ark.
Oh.
It's an interesting idea. I genuinely like the idea. But what a terrible world that would be. It would be the worst of the worst, because Dark Ark, if you're not familiar with that series from Aftershock, available in different versions of trade paperback and hardcovers, is the story. We all know the story of the biblical flood. And Dark Ark is we know the story of Noah's Ark. Dark Ark is the story of the other Ark, the one that's full of monsters. But the whole lead up to Dark Ark is how awful the world is, just how terrible people are. So I like the idea, but man, what a terribly dark story that would be, which is why you'd like to see it.
I'm down.
You and Josh are down. Justin, the kids want to know if there will be a Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 2. One of my sons got really interested in Godzilla since the book. First of all, tell him thank you. I would love to do another Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The final issue of the series comes out next week, so the 14th, I guess. Issue 5 comes out on the 14th. It still remains to be seen if we're going to do another one. I have definitely thrown that idea out there. I have thrown the idea for several other Godzilla comics out there. So I think some of that will come together. If he likes Godzilla, I don't know if it's still in print. I think there are different versions of it. But I did another book for IDW several years ago called Godzilla Cataclysm that he'd probably like. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more Godzilla. I'm glad to see another Godzilla fan in the world, because it's you can't underestimate how much I love Godzilla and how much Godzilla means to me. You can't see it because it's blurred out, much like Josh, but there's a lot of Godzilla back there, and there, and there, and there's Godzilla everywhere in this office. I love that Godzilla. Josh, we have any other rarities?
One more.
Oh, man.
You haven't talked about this series yet.
So, I found when going through the archives, most of these are out of print now, I think. I may be wrong. But I found a set of Harrow County trade paperbacks. This is the 8-volume set. I found 2 sets that I'm going to be bringing to conventions with me.
Just 2.
I only have 2. I had 3, but the other, some of the, I mean, these aren't, look, they're not, they're in good shape, but they're not like pristine. The 3rd set I found, volume 1 looked like it had been run over by a tractor. So I am selling these, and I'll be selling these at conventions. I'll try to sell them at convention, then they'll go on my store. They're going to be going for $100. But again, because you guys actually bothered to join me tonight, if you've messaged before the thing's over, I'll sell them for $80. That's $10 a trade. If you want one of these, just message us and let us know.
There's only 2.
And there's only 2 sets, though. So if more than 2 people want them, I can't help you unless you want a tractor. One that looks like it was run over by a tractor. But there you go. Harrow County, volumes 1 through 8. I wish I'd have brought it in here, but I just opened a box the other day, and I saw the library edition for Tales of Harrow County. I didn't even realize it was coming to me. That's coming out soon. So there you go. Hey, Will wants a set of those. So thank you, Will.
Hey, Will.
Yeah, so Tales from Harrow County. If you haven't read Harrow County, look, I don't want to put this the wrong way. I don't want anybody to feel bad about this. But what the hell is wrong with you? Because, Harrow is, look, I was just talking to another creator today, an artist I want to work with. And we were both talking about how, well, he mentioned to me that he just doesn't want to work on anything that he's not proud of. And it struck me because I remember being at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City a few months back, and I thought to myself, somebody brought a bunch of books to me that I was signing, and they liked the books. But as I was signing them, I thought to myself, I don't like any of these books this guy brought me. I'm not happy about any of these books. And it struck me that I don't want to work on books I'm not proud of. And Harrow County is one of those books with no question, no hesitation. I'm proud of that book. I think it represents who I am. And it's a good book to be introduced to my work. If you have friends who like, spooky kinds of stories, it's a great book for this kind of time of year. But anyway, very, very proud of Harrow County. Six Gun is another one that I'm really proud of. I think holds up. I mean, there's a lot of them. Regression, Basilisk, Unsound, but it's so short. It's easy.
It's still a great story, though.
Well, I appreciate that. You're sweet.
I know.
Yeah. So anymore, I'm really focused on books that I can be proud of. And that's why I'm kind of being picky about a lot of the stuff I work on, a lot of the publishers I work with. And it makes it tough. It's a tough game right now for creators because for me, I feel like the field is narrowing, and it's a tough game. If you read my newsletter, I've been talking to 3 or 4 artists in the last couple of weeks about doing some new books together, and it's finding the right publisher for these books that can get people to actually read the books, but also can help, can pay an artist up front and it's easy to work with. It's the field narrows. I'm hoping it starts broadening again, but right now I feel like that. Despite the thickness of previews, I feel like that field gets more and more narrow. And you're going to see, I'm doing that book with Mad Cave, which is a different publisher I've worked with before. There's another book, hasn't been announced yet. I posted, I made a video about it on TikTok with some great Joe Picardo art. And that book, well, it'll be announced by New York Comic Con, which I don't know. What is? Do you know? Anyway, New York Comic Con. I know it'll be announced by then because the publisher's going to have some very limited ash cans of the first issue. Uh, I just don't think I can say who the publisher is. I probably wasn't supposed to put that video on TikTok, but I did anyway. Yeah, I'm working with some new publishers. I'm really trying to try some different things. Okay, so it looks like. Oh, thank you, Cindy. New York Comic Con is October 6th through 9th. I won't be there because they didn't invite me. By the way, those Harrow County sets are gone. Thank you, Tyler and Will. But the Harrow County sets are gone. You made a wise decision.
Yes, you did.
I do hope to get back to New York Comic Con soon, and I'm going to be plotting out conventions for the next year, much to Cindy's dismay.
Here, show these again.
What am I showing again? Oh, just a reminder.
Time.
Shock Shop. Look, if you don't want the variants or can't get the variants right now, I get it. But go to your comic shop tomorrow if you haven't pre-ordered it. I know a lot of you have pre-ordered it. If you haven't pre-ordered Shock Shop, go to your comic shop and pick this up. It's set in a comic book store, for goodness sake. Well, the host owns a comic book store, but you get to see a little bit of the store. It's really weird, really fun. A lot of in-jokes for comic book collectors. And then it's got two stories. The two stories are Something in the Woods in the Dark and Familiars. Two very different stories, but they follow some similar themes. And these Baldemar Rivas covers, again, this is one book. It's just I'm showing you both sides of the book. You can get these for $15 tonight, but if you can't get them tonight, no big deal. They're going to be on my website, and I'll have them at conventions. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot more conventions. But once they're gone, and you can only get these from me. Thank you, Josh, for reminding me. All right, we got enough time for a few more questions. We've got to be done by 8 because I have to attend a live web broadcast about Texas Frightmare Weekend, which I'm very excited about because it's the first convention I've attended in 20 years that I do not plan on working. I will only be at Texas Frightmare Weekend. I don't know who's going to be there. I don't know the guests. I've never been to the show before, but I have made plans now going on a year that I'm going to be at Texas Frightmare Weekend. My pal Josh is going to be with me. I just convinced him last night. I convinced him last night to join us for Texas Frightmare Weekend. My horror-loving friends, horror. What? Don't listen. I don't know what it sounded like I just said. I don't know what it sounded like I just said, but I meant horror. You know, my spooky stuff. My spooky stuff loving friends sent Josh like a long list of horror movies. What horror movies did we send you?
I don't remember.
He watched a bunch of them and he loved them so much he can't even remember. They blasted the memory of the horror movie right out of his mind. Anyway, so we have time for a few more questions, though, about 10 minutes before we have to log off. But like I said, I'm going to be doing more of these more and more frequently. So no worries there. But if you have questions, Cindy, pop them through for me. What do you look for in a Kickstarter campaign? Well, that seems like a double-edged sword of a question, John. I feel like it's tough. I back a lot of Kickstarter campaigns. Far, far too many. To the point that even though I've said I'm no longer backing Kickstarter campaigns, I may have one saved on one of the tabs on my computer that I'm getting ready to back shortly. For me, and we'll talk specifically for comics, right? This is if I were backing it, not that I was creating one. I like a comic that I feel like I can only get from this Kickstarter, something new, something interesting. I like a comic that doesn't feel like it's just a gimmick book where, I don't know, you've seen, these gimmick books when you see them, but it actually has some meat on the bones rather than just being sort of a, a one shot kind of, the joke is there and that's all that is to it. And then, yeah, I admit I like a lot of little crunchy bits. I like stickers. I like variant covers. I like things I can't get elsewhere. I would say I like a flat ship book though. I want the book and some stickers and maybe some postcards and stuff like that. I love that kind of stuff. Bookmarks I like. Thank you. Yeah. I don't need a lot of, I don't usually go for t-shirts and all the other stuff. But I do like if I know the campaign has stretch goals. Like so let's say I back it because it's a comic or a graphic novel, but there's a lot of stretch goals if other people back it. That definitely gets me into it. I'm all for it. I don't know if that helped, but
original art.
Oh well, yeah, original art, variant covers that are not or sketch covers that you can only get from them. I love that. Oh, yeah. I know Josh is big on the original art and stuff like that. Yeah. All right, other questions, Cindy? I know Cindy's busy getting addresses from people who are ordering things, and thank you for that, folks. The $1 million question from Mateus: how do you deal with writer's block? It works different for everybody. I feel like you're going to have to find your own way of getting through it, but this is what works for me, and maybe only me, but it also worked for the great Ray Bradbury, who I consider one of the greatest American writers of all time. So what Ray Bradbury would do, and what I try to do, so you're stuck on something, he would take a word, and he had a big notebook that was just a list of words. He would take a word and he'd write it at the top of the page. And then he would just start free writing about it. So no intent of making this sensible. He would just start writing. So let's say the word was the lighthouse, and he would just start writing about a lighthouse, everything that was coming to his mind. And Bradbury suggested that about a page or a page and a half into that free writing, a story would surface. And he's absolutely right. It works every time. So I'm stuck on a story idea. I remember I was writing an issue of Venom way back when. And I put Venom in a situation that I literally had no idea how he was going to get out of this situation. I think I had it. He was battling the UFOs, who were villains who were definitely beyond Venom's capabilities. And I got to a point at the end of this one issue that, this is what's happening. There's no way Venom can get out of this. There's no way Venom can survive it. And I had no idea what I was going to do for the next issue. I don't know how I got to that. Sometimes I just start doing stupid stuff. I can't help it. But I just started brainstorming. I think I probably wrote at the top of that page, how does Venom not die? And then I just started brainstorming, and eventually a story came out. So yeah, that free writing, it unlocks my mind in a way that I can just start not worrying about it so much until the story surfaces. I mean, there are other ways. I'll read things that inspire me. I'll watch things that inspire me, but it's hard to beat that free writing. And if you haven't read Ray Bradbury's great book, I thought I had my copy here, but I must have moved it to the other. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. No, wait, that's the book. The title's based on Zen and the Art of Writing.
Yeah, he didn't write Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Zen and the Art of Writing. It's a slim book, but it's so good. It's one of my favorite books on writing, even though I got the title wrong right then. Also, Stephen King's On Writing is an amazing book on writing. But yeah, Zen and the Art of Writing, so great. Definitely check it out. Has some amazing essays. Just reading those essays are going to inspire you, I promise. All right, we got time for a few more questions, comments, or insults. Josh, any insults?
No, I'm good.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. He didn't have anything to say. Yes, Mateus, Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is a great book. I just got the title wrong. People have been feeding me these margaritas leading up to this. What am I supposed to do?
People.
Delicious. Do I have any Kickstarters coming up? Not right now, and I'll tell you why. So the Beyond Mortal Kickstarter was successful to a point, and then things kind of fell apart in the delivery side. This is not a bash on anybody. Things kind of fell apart for a lot of people, and the delivery of that really, we've been struggling with the delivery of it until Blurry Josh came in to rescue us, and he's been taking care of and fulfilling them. And I'm super excited that they're finally going out. First of all, Beyond Mortal will not be continuing as a Kickstarter project. So those Beyond Mortal books that were part of the Kickstarter, I'll have a few that'll be on the web store and at conventions. But the next iteration, Beyond Mortal is continuing, but I have a publisher who's going to be releasing it. So you'll hear more about that coming up. Danny's already completed part 2. He's working right now on part 3. So it will not be coming out as a Kickstarter. I love crowdfunding. I just haven't wrapped my head around it completely in the right way. Josh helping has been a big, that's been a big load off. I'd love to do more Democritus brand. We have 2 more issues of Democritus brand that need to be kickstarted or crowdfunded. But I just don't know yet. I'm not ready. I won't do another one until Beyond Mortal's completely out the door. I will probably do more crowdfunding. I just need to figure out where I am with all that. All right, a few more questions. Any interest in writing Alien or Predator, or both?
Yep.
Yeah. I'd love to. You guys may have noticed I haven't done a lot of work for Marvel in the last couple of years, but I probably posted this on my Patreon, I believe, right before Dark Horse lost the license for Predator. I put a big Predator pitch together, and I've got art from it that I've posted out there that we had put together. And I'd still love to do some Predator and Alien. Yes, I would love to do an Alien versus Predator something. I don't know if it's in the cards, but it would be cool. Never say never. But the answer to your question is yes, there's definitely interest. Alien is my favorite horror movie of all, one of my top 2 favorite horror movies of all time. Predator, I have such fond memories of that movie. I love Predator 2, and I love Prey. And yeah, it's so maybe one day we'll see. What's your most hated book you wrote? Oh, come on, Justin. I can't tell you that. I don't know. I'm sure everyone else who's watching could probably say this is the book Cullen hates most. There are things I like about every one of them, even the books I didn't enjoy writing. I think Aquaman is a safe. This was not my favorite book I've ever worked on.
Lobo.
No, I liked Lobo.
Oh.
Mind your business, Josh. I like that
you
Lobo.
You like the Sparkly Lobo?
I did like Sparkly Lobo. I would never say Sinestro. Sinestro is one of my favorite big 2 books. Yeah. So if I had to, Aquaman is probably it. I had high hopes for Aquaman and they were dashed. And maybe I remember when I was doing my Aquaman book, I was like, oh, I really want to base this. I want to be inspired by was it Aquaman Sword of Atlantis?
Yeah, Kurt Busiek,
the Kurt Busiek story. And I remember telling Kurt that later. And he said, oh, I wish you'd have mentioned it to me because I would have warned you. Do not follow my path down that book. because I loved that book.
Me too.
And apparently it was reviled, which is too bad. Hey, but you can't win them all. Paul, any more Helheim on the horizon? That's a good question. I've said before, I don't want. The problem with Helheim, there's a third series that will wrap it all up, called Sons of Helheim. At one time, it's called the Black Womb of Helheim, but that's not as easily marketable. So I've always wanted to do a third series called Sons of Helheim. The difficulty is Joel's schedule's really, really busy, and we have looked for an artist who could do the book and be in sort of a similar style to Joel, or at least a style that wasn't jarringly different. There's the difficulty. Yes, there's a third series planned. It's just I don't know when that's going to happen. One day, I hope. All right, time for one more question. If Cindy can find one real quick, because I don't want to miss this Texas Frightmare business. Oh, I was hoping that one would pop up. My favorite cashew chicken place. Now, I'm guessing Tyler knows Springfield. Do you know who this Tyler is? Because he said you were pretty. I'm guessing Tyler knows Springfield because Springfield cashew chicken is different from every other cashew chicken that you get outside of Springfield. I mean, I guess some places say, here's a Springfield cashew chicken.
Right.
And where was the place that kind of created it?
Leong's Tea House.
It was Leong's Tea House. Created because years ago they opened a Chinese restaurant in redneck country and they didn't think they could sell Chinese food. So they created what's basically fried chicken in gravy and cashew. And it's delicious. It's awesome. Leong's for cashew chicken. It's not, I don't go there when I'm just wanting Chinese, but Leong's is probably, oh, Josh, it's Lafferty.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Leong's is probably the best still for cashew chicken. Josh, you have a favorite cashew chicken place? Lucy's. I've never been to Lucy's, so I don't know.
Lucy's is great.
Yeah, I hear good things about that Lucy's. But, yeah, you know I like that cashew chicken.
So do I.
All right. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us tonight. I promise I'm going to be doing more of these. I hope you'll join us next time. You can follow me if you go to my website, you can find all my other social media. Twitter, you can find all my social media. Check me out there's my web store. Check me out there. I've got a TikTok now, because I'm so young and youthful. It means a lot to me that you guys, that you are all here tonight. And, I will be doing more of this, and thank you to Cindy for helping us on the back end of this. Thank you to Josh for being my Vanna White in the background.
Ed McMahon. I'm your Ed McMahon.
Do an Ed McMahon thing.
Oh!
There we go. It really means a lot that you're all here. Thank you so much. Please stay in touch. Pick up Shock Shop tomorrow. Tell me if you liked it on social media, and I will be seeing you all very, very soon. Take care.